What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios for another week of building the second battle of Geonosis in Lego. This week, just as promised, for real this time, I'm going to be starting out and focusing on the anti-vehicle cannon. I want to get a lot of that external body area finished, namely the sides and the front. I honestly don't know how I'm going to go about building any of that, which I think is one of the reasons why I've put it off for so long, but I'm going to buckle down this week and get some work done. And of course, I will be jumping onto some terrain work as well, working on that mountain area towards the back of the mock. If you're pumped to see more Geonosis action, don't forget to go down below and execute Order 66 on the like button. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future content I have coming. And with that out of the way, let's get building. All right, it is time to begin work on the anti-vehicle cannon. What I'm going to start with is the sides, just because those are really tough, and my anti-vehicle cannon is built in a way that's going to make adding or changing those side panels pretty tough. I'll probably get more into that later. But what I want to do for now is just try and create something at least remotely reminiscent of what's on the actual cannon. The tough thing about this for me is, for some reason, I'm not very good at seeing something in real life and just being able to automatically convert that into Lego bricks. You know, what I'm trying to say is, like, it's hard for me to just think of like, oh, these bricks or these pieces would be able to capture this design really nice. So I think that's why I struggle with kind of these more detail-based sections of builds. But hopefully, you know, this and other projects moving forward will help me improve in that area. So I finally came up with a design that I'm mostly satisfied with. So this was pretty tough to build for a couple of reasons. The first was, you know, I had to somehow fit three little missile bullet things standing up on the side of, you know, a bunch of plates and panels, which wasn't easy, but I got one of these plates with a stud on the side, basically stood it upright, and then behind it, you know, there's just like a tile to keep it in place. And then on either side, I've got a couple of red stripes. I tried to get it as accurate as I could to the actual pictures. You can see the actual pictures show three missiles in that middle section. I just wasn't able to fit three missiles because of the way my entire body was built. And I'll show you guys what I mean in a second. But other than that, I feel like I was able to capture it pretty well. You can see I've got that red stripe surrounding the canister, and then you've got the light bluish gray slopes on either side. So, you know, capturing the overall aesthetic and design, I feel like I was able to do an okay job. And then the second reason this was so hard and kind of tying into the body issues is because I already had this panel at a set size. You know, I couldn't make this any wider than it currently was, and I couldn't make these wedge plates any further apart than they currently were. So like, if I wanted to fit three canisters, three of these, I would have had to have put one right here and right here, which means I would have had to have moved these wedge plates and these wedge plates to right here and right here. And you can see that won't work because I've got this section of the build right here. So in order for me to do that, I would have had to have completely dismantled this part and basically redesigned the whole turret. And I just don't know if I have the time or desire to do something like that right now. I feel like this captured the idea of what it was, and so I think I'm going to stick with that for now. What I would like to do for the rest of this update is get this front finished as well as the back finished, because if I can do that, then I should be sitting pretty good, because after that I'll just have to finish the turret and then, you know, touch up a couple of things. I would also like to jump over and do some more terrain work this week, focusing a little bit more on this rock work area and kind of explaining to you guys what I want this to look like, as well as planning out where I'm going to put some of those, you know, Geonosian spires. All that being said, that's everything I have to update you guys with, and I will check back in when I have more. All right, so I decided to do a little bit of mountain work before I closed out this week. This is going to be nothing too crazy, just your pretty standard rock work. You guys have seen me do this before. I'm honestly not sure what I'm doing here. Right now I'm kind of just building two walls and maybe I'll put a top on, maybe I'll just kind of build them and then just leave the end kind of tapered off like what I did with Utapau. I don't really know. Honestly, I think I might just wait until I have the anti-vehicle cannon on here and just match that cliff so it's at least taller than the gunner. That way, I don't know, I just feel like it would look weird if, he could look over and see, above that. Alright, it's time to wrap up this episode and show you guys some more progress that I made. So we're going to start out with the anti-vehicle cannon. Just as I promised, I have the entire turret section finished pretty much. This is what I decided to work on next, that front section. This one was tough as well, just because I wasn't exactly sure what this front piece is. It's easier for me to design and build something when I understand the function, because then I understand why it looks the way it does. But when it's just random pieces thrown together, I have a little bit harder of a time. So I basically tried to capture the overall shape. You can see on the front of the actual cannon, you've got that quarter circular piece right there that kind of starts at the top of the turret and then curves down to the bottom. And it looks like it's pretty thick, but not too thick. And then you've got that little missile looking thing at an angle above that, kind of going down at the same angle. So I tried to recreate that as best I could. It was a little tough to get everything to fit together just because this gap was so narrow. I couldn't fit 2 bricks in there. So basically what I did was I alternated bricks with studs on one side. So one faces this way and the other faces that way. That way I'm still able to keep this single stud width while still being able to connect plates on either side like that. And you can see I've got that quarter circular plate on here to kind of match that same angle. Then up above that I've got this thing. So this actually just slides into place. It doesn't sit there just because I wasn't able to find a way to connect this piece to this bottom plate. Although actually now that I'm looking at it, I can probably just stick a 1x3 tile right there. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Am I happy with how this looks? Yes and no. I feel like it looks kind of weird, to be honest, but I do feel like it's more accurate to the actual cannon, so I'm going to stick with it. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is these little steps I made on the back. So I wasn't happier with those larger brown things I was using just because they were so big and bulky. So I tried using some yellow cheese slopes just to create some simple steps. Let me know what you guys think of these down below in the comments. This is definitely not a final design. This is just something I'm trying out to see if I like it or not. I did also get some more work done on this mountain area, but I think we're going to talk about this more next week as I do have more tile coming in. So I'll probably jump back to working on terrain a little bit more next week. That being said, I would like to finish up more of the upper turret section. Pretty happy with how things are coming together. This mock is really starting to take shape. All that being said, it's time to hit the outro. Well, another week down, and I'm happy with this week. I am glad that I was able to split my focuses and get those progress bars kind of back up to similar sizes. Honestly, I don't see myself having much more than 4 more episodes. I just don't have that much work left before the finale. So that's exciting because I know I should be nearing the end, and I know this might be too soon, but I do have my next project picked after this, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm excited to get this finished so you and I can enjoy another mock showcase and so I can get on to the next project. That wraps up this video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions, comments, anything at all, feel free to let me know down below in the comment section. I love interacting with you guys down there, and I'll catch you all later. But until then, happy building.